Hey YouTube, and we are back with another Gamers 8 deep dive. This time it is a semifinal. It is Guild versus FaZe, and it is best of 7, so we are guaranteed to get a 2v2 and a 1v1. Now, FaZe picked 2v2 once again. They did not want to go up right away in the 1v1s against CRR or Dorito, and they are not going to be able to dodge it though. Not in this best of 7 format. They will have to play it no matter what. And so we'll watch that game as well. That game is maybe one of the most intense 1v1s I have ever seen. If you're here just for the 1v1, you know what? I won't even blame you. It'll be in the second half of the video. But for now, we're going to watch the 2v2, which is Dorito and CRR versus Firstkiller and Typical. I think FaZe played about one game with Firstkiller and AJ before they switched to Firstkiller and Typical, and they've stuck with Firstkiller and Typical the rest of the way. They have been a good 2v2 team, but CRR and Dorito have been truly maybe the best 2v2 team in all of the tournament. They have looked absolutely amazing. Rawas and Clears, I believe, looked solid as well. I can't remember if Rawas and Clears ever got a loss as their 2s team. But I'm not sure CRR and Dorito have either. Apparently CRR and Dorito have had thousands and thousands of games of them playing together. Somebody checked on ball chasing or something like that, and they have just so many 2s games played together. It is a Spanish duo. If you didn't know, CRR, Dorito, and Devo make up Guild, and Dorito and CRR are both from Spain. Devo is from England, I believe. And this duo has been dominant all tournament long. Guild has looked so good. In their first matchup, they lost a couple games, but since then, they have just been sweeping all the competition. They got maybe one of the easier matchups in 0-1 in terms of teams that made it to the top 8. I think Dig, looking back, really should have stolen at least one of those 3s games against 0-1. And they probably would have been a tougher matchup in the 2s and the 1v1s had they made it through, but they didn't. So credit to 0-1. But that being said, Guild did dominate 0-1 given their opportunity. Now they're trying to dominate FaZe. They won game 1 in the 3v3, and now they are dropping into the 2v2. And we're watching from Dorito's perspective. Dorito is maybe a guy we haven't really highlighted as much. And during the whole tournament, it's obvious that the focus goes on all the ones players. It's really hard not to when, you know, 1/3 of the games being played or whatever are just one player on the field. It really makes it feel like that player is that team's MVP. Sometimes it's not, but most of the time I would say that it is. In this case, though, Dorito not playing his team's 1v1s, but still doing a great job. His role in 2v2 alongside CRR has been incredibly important for Guild in this tournament, and you can't do it with just a single mode. I mean, I was actually in Rold's chat today. Teammates were saying you literally couldn't do it with one mode, and that's not true. You can do it with just 3s. You can lose every other game mode as long as you sweep the 3s. But sweeping the 3s is not very likely to happen. 0-1 did it once against Dig. The reality is you're going to have to hang in the other modes as well, and Dorito has certainly helped in those modes, as him and CRR have done great in the 2v2. CRR going high on that challenge. Nobody having scored over 3 minutes into this one. Right around 3:30 into it. CRR, nice dish to Dorito. It'd be interesting to hear their comms. I wonder if they switch to Spanish for their 2v2s, even though I imagine they're comming in English for 3s. I don't know if Devo knows Spanish, but I would guess that he doesn't. The CRR just getting bullied. There's been a lot of talk about what should the players do that aren't playing in the matches. And I think it's very interesting, the different metas and the different strategies. Look at this fake. Great fake from Dorito. He's going to be the one to score the first goal in this game. But I do think helping out your teammates, and I kind of mentioned this before, I think in a previous video. I'm not sure whether or not they're all going to be released in the same order. But you know, I do think talking to your teammate and doing more communication with them will be the meta. If 2s and 1s end up being more involved in lands, for now, everyone just kind of lets their 1s player go into the zone for the most part, because that's how they're probably used to playing their 1s games, and they don't want to get in their head. But I do think the premier way to do it is probably to have your teammates in your ear, especially any teammates who are top tier 1v1ers. Or in this case, we're talking about the 2v2s, so maybe Devo being in their ears, helping them communicate. Just like a coach does for a 3v3. Specifically, I know I saw during the tournament, Khaled helping out TRK. While TRK was playing 1s, Khaled was in his ear, giving him advice here and there, which makes a lot of sense. Khaled, one of the best players in 1v1, one of the smartest players, And you're combining their takes, combining their knowledge just seems like only a benefit. So I do think teams will shift towards that direction. Dorito getting taken off the map. 0 seconds. Last opportunity for FaZe. They need to tie this one up to tie up the series. If they could take it in overtime. Firstkiller, his dribble, dunked down by Dorito, and Guild take game number 2. Now, in game number 3, Guild actually win again. So it goes to game 4. Firstkiller versus CRR. FaZe's life is on the line, and this game is what happens. Firstkiller versus CRR. FaZe has decided to put Firstkiller back in the game. Guild does not really have two 2v2 players. They've had, two 1v1 players. They've had CRR play every single one of their 1v1s. I don't think there was ever really much of a conversation. CRR has been on the grind of ones recently. And I know before this tournament, he was talking about how he wanted to get as many show matches as possible because he wanted to practice. He knew this LAN was coming up and that he was going to be his team's 1v1 main. And so he has been putting in the work. The other side of the field, a team that had 2 options. AJ, who actually has been putting in a decent amount of work in 1v1 in terms of show matches and grinding to the ranked leaderboard. You've probably seen him topping those leaderboards recently. Or Firstkiller, somebody who has historically had the edge over every single North American he's ever played, and that includes AJ. So in the swap recently, he had 2 different show match wins against AJ. Nice power shot. So everyone still considers him to be one of the best, if not the best North American. So therefore, FaZe's best, 1v1er to offer. Interestingly, FaZe decided not to use Firstkiller against Space Station. And now that Firstkiller, that's a nice miss by CRR. Now that Firstkiller is playing Guild, up until this point, that means that FaZe has selected Firstkiller to play every single 1v1 with the exception of Space Station's game against Daniel, where they put in AJ. So, a new day today. Firstkiller maybe feeling back on his game. Right now, he has a lead over CRR. CRR deciding not to take the wall to air dribble. I feel like during the first few 1v1s that I've seen in this event, the playstyle was obviously different, was obviously very coming from very nerve-wracked players, but I almost feel like it's cleaned up a little bit as time has gone on. Specifically, Firstkiller's first game did not look great. CRR doing his best to try and get this ball off of both posts. But I think Firstkiller had really cleaned it up. In every other game I had watched since the first, I think the first one he played was actually the one against Rawas. And since then has not lost one. And it's just felt much more comfortable. Not able to turn this backflip challenge in for a goal. He's going to camp directly under CRR. Nice demo. And he should be able to finish this before a CRR respawn. But actually, he got a bit of a soft touch. Or he needed to be either a softer or a harder first touch. One that he could accelerate, or one that he could just immediately shoot in. CRR just getting absolutely faked out of his mind. But the roll that he did get was not what he wanted. Doesn't matter. Firstkiller is still going to score. 4-1. Up with 3 minutes left on the clock. This is not a great setup in the air. CRR pre-jumped it. I actually think that Firstkiller is probably lucky that CRR pre-jumped it because he had such little control over that ball. If CRR was still on the ground, then he's just going to take that away for free and turn it in for a goal instead of just slamming it to the orange side. Firstkiller, the speed so close to getting a 5th goal. CRR does just enough. CRR has been using these wave dash dribbles a ton, I noticed, while watching him. Firstkiller, his air dribble reset is sent wide, and CRR counters it. That is what CRR is so good at, as well as every other ones player. If you give him a little window, make a bit of a mistake on offense, he will take that opportunity. Huge delay by Firstkiller, not coming to the kickoff at all. And CRR, great read. Saw the nameplate behind the kickoff, not moving. The air dribble, the 50. CRR putting himself back within 1 in the game where Firstkiller looked on form and was hoping to take it away from him. He is now right back in it. Firstkiller still with the lead. A kickoff loss, but ultimately a win as he is able to take control of the ball. Rolling this slow at CRR. CRR has done a good job managing boost. I think he should still have enough here. Yeah, 43. More than enough to take a strong shot. is going to have to back off now. Firstkiller with space. CRR showing the close shadow, and this flick does leave a bit to be desired. CRR certainly going to have that save, and we saw that against Roas from Firstkiller. Some of those attacks going to waste because he wasn't putting in strong enough attempts. And whether that's from just flicking from too far out or just not getting enough strength on the touch, it's hard to know. I do think it's a little bit simpler to just play the ball closer to the net. CRR deciding not to take this as he hopes to hold on to possession. Firstkiller's going to try and not let him do that. And CRR, crucial dunk as both him and First roll across the map. And Firstkiller turned upfield. And oh my goodness, CRR chokes. I forgot. I watched this live and now I'm remembering. Firstkiller made a huge mistake to let CRR just take it into the open net. And then CRR misses on his first touch and then tries to just slam it in. And he just doesn't have the wherewithal to realize you can't miss that. Missing that is getting scored on. And so it's worth waiting, because even though you might get the ball saved, it's better than going down 2. Wave dash from Firstkiller on the wall to air dribble. Neither one of these guys looking too crazy in the air in this 1v1. CRR, look at this wave dash dribble. He's just trying to get something to happen. I don't even know if he got the wave dash, but it was the spirit of a wave dash as he lands to cut the ball. Demoing Firstkiller. And can he get this power shot from all the way back behind the midfield line? He can. And that's just an impressive power shot. You got to be perfect in order to make sure Firstkiller can't respond. But 18 seconds left to go. Firstkiller does have the 1-goal lead. CRR staying close on the kickoff, picking up pads, getting all the way up to 36, and now 48. That's just great boost awareness. Knowing he can't leave the play, he can't give Firstkiller space. This flick over the top of him, 0 seconds, and CRR carries it in. And a perfect performance from CRR on a kickoff that really wasn't great for him. You know, he needed it bad, and he turned it into something good. Firstkiller couldn't get the power here immediately off of this kickoff. And now, overtime, the biggest prize pool of any single game ever played, I'm pretty sure at this point. So whichever one of these guys win, they are going to be putting their team in a much better spot. Of course, FaZe is actually down 3-0. Firstkiller can't get this double, and it seemed open. CRR was not going to be able to cover a slot under the crossbar. But like I said, 1v1 on land, it doesn't happen often. It's never happened with a prize pool this big. And now CRR, the counter, not quite in the post. Both these guys absolutely nerve-wracking at the end of this game. Firstkiller, another opportunity, another flick far away from the net. Keep that in mind. Firstkiller is doing that a lot in these series, and specifically, you know, those flicks aren't so bad as long as you can get away with a tough save, but he hasn't even done that. All of those flicks have been immediately ended as far as the possession goes and converted to a CRR possession. Now CRR cutting in field. Both these two just trying to stuff it down each other's throats, and they can't. Firstkiller, patience on the goal line. He has a big boost advantage right now. CRR, a crucial 50 here. He actually gets the ball to glue to the wall, which is so important. If it bounced off, Firstkiller was going to have a good opportunity. And there it is. The demo. CRR takes Firstkiller off the map. He might not even be doing this on purpose. He's been doing these wave dash dribbles all game long. I think he's maybe trying to set another one up here. We'll watch it from his perspective again. But when he fell in front of the ball, he said, all right, screw it. I'll just demo Firstkiller. I'll take him off the map. Firstkiller couldn't get the read in time. We'll watch the OT game-winning, series-winning goal again as Firstkiller resets on the 100. And just, I mean, I think CRR looked like he wasn't getting what he wanted. And Firstkiller saw that too. He's like, man, that was not a good pop. That setup couldn't possibly be something that you can make a shot out of. But CRR did the best backup in the world. All the players have gotten so good at what is the best backup for any mistake, which is to just demo that defender off the map. And I really do think that was probably not plan A for CRR. But hey, all that matters is that he won. And Guild with the 4-0 sweep on FaZe, they absolutely dominated. And CRR has looked incredible in the 1v1 portions of this event. Firstkiller, after this loss, tweeted at Johnny Boy saying, screw it, get me back in 1v1 show matches. I've had enough losing these best of ones. I mean, this is all not quoted, but you get an idea. You can check out Firstkiller's tweet where he said he wants to get back. Maybe we'll see Firstkiller back in 1v1s. Obviously, we would all be excited to see that as North American 1v1 fans, as 1v1 fans in general. The fact that one of the best to ever do it is pretty inactive in the one scene. It'd be great to have him back. So hopefully we will. Credit to CRR. He has been super active, and he has shown he can get the dubs against the best of the best.